What is happening, y'all? Cowboy here. Welcome on back to another Monster Hunter World build update video. And today we're going to be taking a look at how some builds have changed since the Rajang update. Now, first off, I'm going to be showcasing the builds that I found very effective for taking down Rajang for those that are struggling. And then we're going to go into some builds that have changed. Some of them with the Rajang gear or Rajang weapons, some of them just because I've had even more time in the guiding lands. But first on up, we have an Anti-Rajang dual blade setup. Now, this is probably one of the more effective ways to fight Rajang. You have the high mobility that you need with anti-dual blades to kind of stay on top of him. Now, while I'm not a fan of them, we are running the Bio Hatchets too. They have a shit ton of ice element, and while I do love my Velkhanas, the biggest reason we're running these is because they have that extra level 2 deco slot, which I needed to really pull together what I was trying to do here. Frost Charm at 5, our Silver Soul all beta, and then Garuga Greaves. Now, jumping into the decorations, this is where this thing really matters, and you'll notice that I have Tremor Resist at 3. If you've been fighting Rajang, you know he is all about the tremors. You might be able to get by with Tremor Resist 2, but having 3 ensures that you are never getting stunned up in those tremors, so it just makes the fight even more smooth. So Tremor Resist 3 is worked into the build. We obviously have Crit Boost, Wex, and Crit Eye, and Ice Attack all the way up. Besides that, a couple other things that are just nice. We have our Health Boost, Affinity Sliding, Free Meal, Resuscitate. But the biggest thing here is going to be access to that Tremor Resist. And this build looks to take advantage of that while still maximizing our true element crit damage to really melt the monkey. One thing I want to point out is you'll notice I have a single Geology Jewel. Now, if you have been hunting in the guiding lands, this is currently a bug that's in the game, but anytime you launch a monster into the wall, the shiny that it drops is actually increased by Geologist. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, the game considers it to be a bone pile when a monster is dropping something in the guiding lands. I think it has to do with how they just keep dropping the same material. But having Geologist means that if you shoot it into the wall, it's essentially dropping 2 shinies. So very, very nice for guiding lands. And, you know, I'm going to be honest with y'all, I'm going to take advantage of this as long as it works, because farming up those guiding lands on monsters is pretty hellish. And being able to just have, you know, 2 shinies every time, like just to put it in perspective, we fought Tempered Namiel the other night. After one Tempered Namiel hunt, I came away with 31 Namiel hides, I want to say, from having the Geology Jewel active. And so that's, I mean, needless to say, having 31 of something's material after a single hunt is freaking bonkers. So take advantage of that is the point. Moving on from there, another build is the Crit Draw Rajang build. Now, initially, I had a Greatsword Rajang build that I was using, but as mobile as he is, you can't really stay on him all that much. And so this looks to take advantage of just going on up. The main playstyle would just run behind him, boop him, roll, and then do it again. And it's definitely not the most entertaining style of play, but it does a lot of damage. You'll also notice that we're just going for regular swings as opposed to charge swings. Basically, getting out a charge swing, we don't have focus on this build, but we're doing 658 with a charge swing, whereas a regular swing, we were doing 306. So a charge swing is basically 2 regular swings, but with regular swings, you're just getting them out a lot faster. And honestly, against Rajang, as fast as he is and him jumping all over the place, I found that to just be safer and more effective than going for the charged hits. So to jump on into this, we are working with Winged Seraphid. He's obviously weak to ice, so we're looking to take advantage of that. We have Handicraft Charm on there. And we're going to also be taking advantage of the Frostcraft buff from Velkhana. So Rimeguard Helm Beta, Male, Vambrace's Coil, Rimeguard Coil, Greaves, Male Helm, and then we have Ruinous Vambraces as our final piece. And so pulling this all together, our Anti-Rajang set was coming on in at 5 Agitator. We have our Health Boost and our Recovery up. We have a Crit Boost, we have Crit Draw, we have Quick Sheath, we have Divine Blessing for when he's about to one-shot you. And we're obviously losing on the Tremor Resist here. And you might be like, well, hold on, you know, you have that on the Dual Blade build, why don't you have it here? And the thing is, you're so mobile with this, you're essentially running up, you're booping him on his ass, and then you're rolling out of the way. And you're waiting for him to do an attack, and then you're booping him on his ass again. It's not a very engaged play style. It's kind of boring, to be honest, but it gets the job done. We were knocking out like 6-7 minute Rajang kills with this. Just, you know, every time he'd do an attack, you just slap the monkey on his ass and he was going down fast. He was going down really fast, which is nice to see because, you know, this is obviously a kind of early-esque master rank build before you really get into the guiding lands and farm up a bunch of stuff, but with still really good damage. I mean, aside from the Nerky gloves, but you could obviously swap them out for something else. The point is, crit draw, ice greatsword, claps, Rajang's monkey cheeks. So moving on from there, let's see. Let's take a look at the light bowgun build, which I've actually finally had some time to update. Now, light bowgun it's still fun, but to be honest, this doesn't do as much damage as, say, the the sticky build that everyone's been running, or not the sticky build, the spread shot heavy bowguns and ogre build. That's very much kind of defined itself as the meta for gunners right now. But I still find rapid fire pierce to be really, really fun to play. I've been working with Wyvern Blast mod a bit, which actually has a lot of synergy here because you're, perpetually right in front of the monster trying to line up those long shots. So throw that on out when it charges and you get a free knockdown. But this build has increased quite a bit, and it has potential to get even better. So to jump on in, Agi at 5, crit eye at 6, we can get that up to 7, crit boost at 3. We still have evaded window 3, which is really nice with our evading reload, of course. Piercing shots 2, 2 points ammo up to increase our sticky 2 and pierce 2. Stray point of peak in there. We have our fortify, and we have our ballistics. Now the main things that I want to change with this is, first off, this needs to become an expert jewel plus. Haven't found a second one yet, but when I do, that's going to take my crit eye up to 7. And right now we have a single affinity augment on this weapon, but we are at 65% affinity. We do a second affinity augment, we're at 70. We do the custom affinity augments where you can do 5 of them for 1% each. That takes us up to 75. Having an expert jewel plus for 1 more point of expert is going to take us up to 85. And then when we have agitator active, we are up at 95. So 95% affinity, basically ensuring that every single tick on your pierce shot is going to crit. That's pretty sexy. It's a lot of pierce damage. And even if you're not doing as much as, say, a spread shot build, like, honestly, pierce is just a lot of fun to play. I absolutely loved playing Pierce Bowgun back in GU and seeing rapid fire pierce being viable in World. I mean, it's a play style that I fell in love with a previous game, and it's viable here, and I'm going to keep playing it, even if it's not as potent as spread shot. On to the next build. We're actually going to switch up and blow ourselves away very quickly here. Now, you'll probably remember with the Switch X, we were running a haste and recovery, recovery up type combo, and I was missing health augmentation. Obviously, as I mentioned, we did a lot of hunting of Namiel, and so I have plenty of tempered Nami hides to get health augment on weapons. And oh my god, health augment combined with recovery up is absolutely silly. So to take a look at this, we're gonna watch that. We're at about half health, right? Boom, 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 boom. One Heaven Ward Flurry combo, we just healed 50%. That is stupid good. Stupid, stupid, stupid good. And as I mentioned, this is just with health regen 1 and recovery up 3. It's honestly so disgusting that I'm focused. I'm laser focused on trying to work this into like every build I have now. But to take a look at how this has changed, this is my new go-to Switch X setup. We've switched up our gear quite a bit. We're still running Zora and Garuga, but to pull together all the skills I wanted, we're running Rex Roar Male Beta, Rex Roar Bracers Alpha, and then the Tigrix Tassets Beta. Now, the one big oof with this build is we have free meal secret, but we don't have any free meal. That is definitely a, leaves a bit to be desired, but, just pretend you don't have free meal secret and you'll feel okay. But we obviously have our Holy Trinity here with Crit Eye 7, Crit Boost 3, Weakness Exploit 3. We have Attack Boost up at 5. This will be at 4 with the final version. Agitator is up at 5. We have our single point earplug, so we have level 5 when we do a zero-sum discharge, and our point of flinch free to prevent tripping. And we have finally managed to work Evade Extender into the build as well. So those of you that have followed me back when I played Switch Axe and Base know I love Evade Extender on Swax. Your evade extender, like just to show the mobility here. This is, even in sword mode, right? We're gonna start at this wheel. Look at the distance we just covered. We covered that much distance in freaking sword mode. And in axe mode, it's not even fair, man. axe mode, your rolls are just like, oh, yeah, come here. Like, you don't even sprint after the monster. You just roll after it. But so yeah, having a Evade Extender too, it's just something that I've grown to love with Switch Axe. It just gives you that much more mobility, and we're not even really using the mobility to escape. We're using it to stay on the monster, and it just, you know, it gives you more uptime. More uptime means more hits. More hits means more healing, and you just have this self-sustained monster of a build. As for some changes I would do, you could get Evade Extender 3. I obviously only had a Jumping Expert and a Jumping Attack, but with 3 Jumping Experts, you could go Jumping X, and then Jumping X here as well. Even though you're sacrificing Expert Plus, you'd have 1 coming in from here and 1 from replacing this, effectively rounding your build out with Crit I 7, Attack Boost 4, Agi 5, Health Boost 3, Recovery Up 3, Crit Boost 3, Weakness Exploit 3, Evade Extender 3, Earplug, and Flinch Free. So that's what I'm going to be working towards with this. You'll notice I am still using Ruinous Light. And I was messing with the Rajang Switch Axe, but I was a little disappointed that it didn't have the power-up, which I'll show you in a second. But not only that, I mean, just having this much innate white sharpness, plus having the Elder Seal, is just really nice in Switch Axe. You know, you're just spanking away at monsters. Obviously, if this is a Elder-centric meta right now, so we're fighting a lot of Elders, Elder Seal coming in big. It's just, you know, it's a solid choice. You really can't go wrong with it. And you're not going to do as much damage as, say, the Rajang Switch Axe, but this is still a really fun playstyle with a lot of self-sustain. And you can't actually pull all this together and still use the Rajang Switch Axe effectively because you need to work in Handicraft to maximize its damage, which is ultimately why I decided to stick with Ruinous Light. In the hammer build, though, that's a different story. We totally picked up the main Malice Rajang because this thing is the best Rajang weapon in the game. You want to know why it's the best Rajang weapon in the game? Because Super Saiyan Hammer! That's right. You power this thing up, and it gets the yellow fur, the Super Saiyan fur that Rajang gets. Really respectable hammer. Lots of damage on this bad boy. We don't even have our armor augments on and whatnot. Let me switch that up just so you can get a true representation of the damage. All in all, pulling this bad boy together, 1752 on attack, and that's a lot of hammer damage. You know, we're gonna get a weaken. We're gonna do a quick combo here just to see how much we're hitting with this. Super Saiyan mode. Almost 1400 damage from a single level 3 charge into Clutch Claw combo. And it obviously looks freaking awesome. Like, just looking at this thing, not only does it charge up, it's his face. Is there anything more metal than cutting off a monster's head and using its head as a mallet to beat other monsters to death? I don't care if this was the worst hammer in the game, which coincidentally it's like the best, but that's so freaking metal that I just have to use this thing. So jumping into this build, we are working Zora Headgear B, Kieran Jacket Alpha, Ruinous Vambraces Beta, Ruinous Coil Alpha, Rex Wargreaves Alpha, and then Handicraft Charm at 4. And you pull all this together with the decos, and you have a very beefy build. We have our Crit Eye at 7, our Handy at 5, Agi at 5, Attack at 4, Crit at 3, Wex at 3, Divine Blessing at 3, which is delicious, by the way, and then Fortify and Flinch Free to prevent tripping. So all in all, a lot of very desirable DPS skills. On the utility side of things, we worked in the anti-trip with Flinch in addition to Divine Blessing. Divine Blessing is coming. 2 of our decos are protection. There is 1 Divine Blessing coming in from Kieran, so I looked to maximize that. But, of course, you could swap these out for Vitality and go for a single Divine Blessing and an extra 30 health on Vitality. But, you know, I've been doing Vitality with so many other builds that I figured, why not? Might as well work in Divine Blessing. This obviously also has Haste and Recovery, so a little bit of self-healing. But with the main Malice, I would suggest going for Affinity Increase to help compensate for the negative Affinity. With just 1 affinity on there, you can see that brings us on up to our baseline of 40 affinity, which is what most weapons are at. So obviously Wex will put us on up to 90, and then our Agitator will put us on up to 100, giving us that fat damage, even with a hammer that started with negative affinity. I don't know why people are so scared of negative affinity. Like, you know, like I said, if the monster is enraged, we have 100% critical hit chance hitting a weak point. And this is a negative affinity hammer, but people are still like, oh, negative affinity, it's bad. Like, no, you just use skills to compensate for it. Anyway, moving on from there, though. I think I talked about that in the last video. Let's go to Where's it at? This thing. So this build itself hasn't really changed much. It's the same build, but the Rajang Destroyer is just a flat-out upgrade, comparing it to the previous choice, which was the Accursed Bellow. Let me get a comparison up here. As you can see, I mean, -15 minus -20, 495 compared to 450. I don't even have augments on this thing yet, but we obviously have a level 4 deco slot added into the mix. We lose access to Piercing 1, which who cares? It's good, man. It's really good. This is pretty much a straight upgrade for the sticky playstyle. Just to give y'all some numbers here. Our sticky 3 with this bad boy, they're hitting freaking hard. They're hitting really hard. 127 per explosion. Like, so this takes your heavy bowgun KO potential even higher. And honestly, I really like the look of this thing. It kind of reminds me of the Diablo's heavy bowgun, but just with a better aesthetic. So very solid upgrade. I mean, it's just a flat out upgrade from our old heavy bowgun. So, you know, no real changes there. Just take the bigger gun and be on your way. And then I've started putting together a wide lance build, but I'm not completely sold on this yet. The Great Demon Gun Lance does have wide level 6. We are still taking advantage of artillery for now, but I don't do a lot of wide gun lancing, so I'm not sure where I want to change this up. I don't know if I want capacity up or not. I don't know the value on it. So for now, at least, we're going crit I7, crit boost 3, Wex 3. Even though your shells don't crit, you know, it's just more stuff. We have a stray point of handicraft just to give me a little bit more sharpness. Flinch free, protective polish. Razor sharp coming in from the charm. Evade extender 2, since evading is generally going to be better than guarding with gun lance. You have tremor resist innately with this. I mean, obviously, if it turns out that you do want capacity up, if you know, I don't play enough of this to know if it's worth it, but I mean, with normal, it's obviously worth it. Normal, it just claps cheeks. But where's my capacity up? There we go. You know, you just slap in a magazine jewel, and then you can have capacity up. I think the thing is with capacity, I think people are still trying to figure out the damages and what our rotation is going to be, because the things are your pokes don't do a lot of damage. You know, we're getting 100 damage on a poke and then 85 on each of those. So if you're not doing capacity up, I mean, it's as simple as, you know, you poke, shot, reload, poke, shot, reload. With it, I think he would go shot, poke, shot, reload, shot, poke, shot, reload. But I don't do wide lancing usually, you know. But there's a wide 6. I'm gonna make a wide 6 gun lance set. So, oh no, I mean, there's a lot of skills here. And I tested the difference between artillery 3 and artillery 5 with this. It is roughly an extra 10 damage per shot, which doesn't seem like a lot, but when you consider how many shots you're doing over the duration of a hunt, it definitely does add up. Obviously, a very, very decoration-centric style build here. We have our sharp coming in the form of a deco, our fortitude expert, magazine jumping expert, but definitely a fun build to play with. So I'm going to be doing more practice with this, and then I'll likely get a update to it as time goes on. But I think that's about it. Let me see. Nope, you're still good. You're still good. Exhaustion's still good. Wide lance. Here's another set using the geologist just for farming. Crit draw. Yeah. So that's about it for now. All right. Well, either way, thanks for coming on by, checking out the builds. Definitely quite a few updates to a lot of things. As a reminder, we do Monster Hunter every Monday night on stream, and then occasionally we'll also play throughout the week over twitch.tv/FightinCowboy. So if you want to join the hunt, stop on by. And otherwise, I will catch you all next time.